All right, so this is video number 21, molding and casting a life-size figure. So as you can see, I've put the second piece, stacked that on top of the lower piece, and I haven't worked a seam or connected anything yet, but it's sitting in place. And check the bottom and the top of this piece before I put it on, make sure everything was fitting snugly, and it was. So, and it's fit very nicely into place without any work. All right, so I'm ready to go and work these seams. And I just wanted to show you, here's, I'll have two seams to work, a vertical seam, which joins the front and back of this piece, right? And then there's also gonna be a horizontal seam that you can see down there that connects the lower section to this upper section. So I've got those two seams to work. And here's the seam, and you can see kind of the V section, or the V shape that I was talking about, angling out. And it looks like kind of a wide area, but if you look, you can't really see with the shadow, but if you look really closely, the rubber itself is very close. So the bigger seam is in the material, the casting material, which I'll fill up, and that'll be fine. And I'll have kind of a minimal seam really between the two rubber pieces, which is what you want. So you just want everything fitting really, really snug. That just creates less work at the end. I mean, if you do have a larger seam for some reason between the rubber, that's always something you can correct when you demold it. But it's just nice not to have to, or to have as little work as possible afterwards. So in addition to working the seams and putting the cloth on these seams, that's really going to make this strong enough. But I'm also going to add two pieces of conduit that go from the lower to the upper and create kind of an X or a cross in this sort of large open area. And that'll help both connect the lower to the upper piece, and also to help create stability with this big open area. It may start becoming a little bit more apparent why I'm working this way. I've seen people make these divisions and then cast these pieces individually, take them out of the mold, and then stack the finished pieces and connect them. And you can do that, but it just seems problematic to me to get good registration, because as you can see, even though this is really strong, this material is really strong, it's only about 1/4 of an inch wide. And so it just, it strikes me as problematic to try to stack large finished pieces on top of one another that are kind of rough edged and get good registration. So by leaving them in the mold, you have this larger sort of surface that the next piece will sit on, and it'll line things up for you, and then you can connect it, finish it, and be a little bit more assured of that that things are in place. And it's just it seems like a more stable working method. All right, so I'm going to continue now to stack these pieces. If something comes up that I think is of interest, I'll break into that process, but otherwise I'm going to put together the rest of these finished cast pieces in their molds and stack them on one another and join the seams.